I go back to Zoom. And then I.
Like every 6 months or so, it's unreal now, it's just creepy.
Change it out else.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
So you're ready, Susan? I'm ready. Okay. All right. Call the meeting to order. Meeting of, the regular city council meeting of August 20th, 2025. Will you join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I want to know. I want that. We're doing every hour, I don't know. I love to.
Still right now. I will take the roll. Mayor Smith,
Here.
Deborah Adams. Here. Aaron Hanson.
Here.
Casey Kinsman.
Here.
Mike Mickelson is absent. Wendy Rainey. Here. Kathy Sherman. Here. Dave Zastro.
Here.
There's a form of text.
Great, thank you. So, you have the agenda before you. Does anybody have any additions or modifications to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, we'll consider the agenda approved. And then we come to disclosures of conflicts of interest and ex parte communication. There's a code that addresses conflicts of interest, and I want to ask if anybody does have a conflict of interest to declare. Please clarify how the decision being made by the council would affect you as a council member, affect the council member with the conflict. Yeah, how does the action we might take affect you? Thank you, Councilmember Randy.
There's a perceived conflict of interest with new business number 11. For me, due to the nature of my business.
And can you just say how you think that might affect you?
I actually don't think that it will affect me, but I decided to let you and the council decide that.
Okay.
I honestly don't think it's gonna be a financial effect on us one way or the other.
Mhm.
But I know there's a perceived conflict of interest, so I'm bringing it to your attention.
Okay. So there's a definition in our code. There's 4 ways you can define substantial financial interest. And I guess the council member is saying she thinks there isn't a clear substantial financial interest and I think I would agree with that because it does say that the substantial financial interest means the financial interest is substantial after considering, one of them is whether the financial interest is immediate or known or attenuated and dependent on factors beyond the official action. And I think there is an action that we're considering taking tonight, but there are a lot of other things that would have to happen after that for there to actually be a substantial financial interest, which means it's all pretty speculative, I would say, so.
On the record, will you put on what is defined as substantial?
Pardon?
Isn't it written in there what substantial is defined as? That's probably good to read that a lot.
Also says, yeah, financial interest that would result in a pecuniary gain or loss exceeding $5,000 in a single transaction or more than $10,000 in the aggregate in 12 consecutive months.
And so we're,
Following the decision, yeah.
so we're determining that if item 11 development was to go forward, there would be no less than $10,000 worth of difference, so to speak.
We're not taking from the same pool. We're self-sufficient.
Perfect,
We bring our own clients, so it's not like we'd be in competition.
perfect. And I'm only bringing this up just to weed out any further conversation on this item.
That's why I put it on the page.
Say that we're following the process, yeah. It's good. Great.
Mayor Smith?
Yeah.
And for myself,
Mhm.
Well, hang on and let's finish that. So you're saying that you do,
I
you're ruled
concur.
that there is not a conflict.
Concur. that
Okay,
they're not conflict.
excellent. Sorry, and then
absolutely.
number two,
Councilmember
conflict.
So new business, 12, as a Native Village VA member and a wife that by right works for NB.
Mhm.
I don't foresee any financial gain. I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay, so again, you're. Yeah, saying that there isn't, that the action we're taking tonight doesn't, it, in all likelihood, would not have a clear financial interest in your household,
Absolutely.
okay? And again, well, I think in this case, yeah, it's. Just look at the reasonings, yeah, I mean, I don't see there being a financial interest significantly changed by the outcome of this decision that we are looking at taking tonight, so I concur with your assessment. Thank you. Okay, any other conflicts or?
And just one more part of the process is that any council member could say that they would wish to take a vote on any of those if they feel differently
Right, the
than
council can
the mayor's ruling.
vote to overrule. Felt. Otherwise,
If they're good.
okay, great, thank you. Any ex parte communication? I will just ask about that while we're going through everything, okay. All right, thank you. So communications by and petitions from visitors, we don't have any guest speakers scheduled and audience comments about agenda items. If people want to come up and talk about an item that's on the agenda, we allow 3 minutes per speaker, and I am gonna ask folks to be a little more mindful about the 3 minute time period, just because I think there might be a lot of people that want to speak, so we'll be monitoring that. Thank you.
Great,
Hi.
thank you. My name is Curtis Fincher. I live at 105 Eccles Lagoon. As you can guess from the address, I'm commenting on agenda item 10. I want to start this comment by saying I've worked on housing development for the city. I've worked on housing development around the state of Alaska. I think it's a pretty intractable issue, and here you guys have a chance to help improve the situation in Cordova in alignment with Cordova's comprehensive plan. And I understand for those reasons, this is a no-brainer for the city, and the city should be supporting this development. However, I think there's a very important caveat to the city's support for this development, which is that a floating easement, and by our, I mean the tracks at Eccles Lagoon, needs to be acknowledged, and it should be acknowledged in your resolution of support. This is a serious omission that UALM has made in their platted subdivision concept design, and it's just kind of a shocking mistake. There are 2 easements actually. One is through tract 1, the large tract to be subdivided. And that goes from the parking lot to tracks 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the tracks along Eccles Creek. There's a second platted easement, which is along track 1, that's the lot behind Michelle's house. The first easement is 60 feet wide, that second easement is 30 feet wide. The intention of the second easement is to tie Michelle's lot to the other floating easement. Floating in this case means that the exact location of these easements hasn't yet been determined. The language of the easements is that they will become permanent at a mutually agreed location prior to the time of construction. Mutually agreed here refers to in conjunction and collaboration with the Eccles Lagoon residents. And I'll note, actually, not my lot, I'm not included in those 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I would like to suggest that you amend your resolution of support to include a whereas clause, which is effectively what your city planner has already written under number 4, conflicts or environmental issues. Amanda has written the floating easement that provides parking for Eccles Lagoon residents would need to be addressed if the development moves forward. I'd make a few edits to that floating easements. There are 2 easements and it doesn't provide parking, it provides access. So I strongly suggest that the council tonight make a motion to amend the resolution of support to include a whereas clause that reads, whereas the floating easement that provides access for Eccles Lagoon residents will need to be addressed if the development moves forward. When those tracks were conveyed to UALM from DNR after Anilka, DNR made a exceptional move, and they included on the deed for both properties that these easements are part of the deed, the quitclaim deeds. That is not something that's standardly done, and it was done in this case because DNR understood our tracks could be landlocked. I had an ex-director of DNR for the state with 30 years of experience in state land disposal review this. He told me I didn't need to hire a lawyer at this point because it's really clear that UALM will fix this issue themselves. But I want to note that this is a big omission from UALM, and it's because this is being rushed. I understand they have a funding deadline, I get all of that, but the city cannot in good conscience issue a resolution of support for this without acknowledging our easements. And one last thing, I know that there's a lot of information here. If you feel that you don't have enough information to make this decision tonight, I emailed every council member 8 days ago asking for a phone call with each of you. I haven't received a call back or an email from any of you. This is also not going before Planning and Zoning Commission due to the tight timeline here. And so asking you to make this decision tonight and either incorporate that amendment or not support that resolution is really the only access I've had to the process. And I got a few quizzical looks about the email, so perhaps the email addresses on the city's website should be checked, because I double checked those after I sent those, because I thought it was surprising I didn't receive any of the responses.
Thanks. Could you make sure the clerk has that language?
Yeah, great. Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Whereas
Yeah,
Can you write it?
I will.
in
Thank
that
you.
audience and we'll get it out here?
It's right there.
Okay.
I made 9 copies because I can't get everything said in the 3 allotted minutes. Good evening, Mayor Smith and City Council members. My name is Michelle Hahn, formerly Michelle Hahn O'Leary. I reside at 600 Eccles Lagoon, Cordova, Alaska, 99574. I'm speaking to the proposed resolution on page 25 in your packet regarding the University of Alaska Land Management Office Development and Disposal Plan Cordova subdivision. I own tract 1 in 7335. Strongly support that the council amend this resolution, adding additional language as proposed by Curtis Fincher. Whereas floating easement that provides access for the Eccles Lagoon residents will need to be addressed if the development moves forward. Then I'm gonna skip down here. As a landowner who will be directly affected by this proposed subdivision concept design with my access rights ignored, I humbly ask that I be allowed to attend and comment at the collaboration between the University of Alaska Land Management Office and the city staff on subdivision design and process. For 50 years, I've been walking this proposed subdivision development land and know it intimately. Since 1981, I've been corresponding with first the state of Alaska and then the University of Alaska Land Management Office. I work directly with many state and university employees, sometimes at my house, or walking the land with them, or over the phone, or through written comments. I have seen many employees and many versions of subdivisions come and go, and individual land sale proposals, including one by the city of Cordova, who at one time wanted to locate the hospital there, but it was deemed too expensive. I believe there are better ways to design and develop this land using the natural terrain, which should include meadows and stream greenbelt areas and Eccles Lagoon access, while having almost as many lots for sale. One issue that has not been addressed at all is Whiskey Creek and its tributary. Cordova relies on its fishing income and tax. For the second year in a row, Orca Inlet has opened for commercial seining, which I watch from my house. These were profitable openers for some fishermen. Whiskey Creek and its tributary, along with Eccles Creek, are classified anadromous fish streams that actively support pink and silver salmon and dolly barter and cutthroat trout. The proposed Meadowview subdivision unnecessarily develops critical salmon habitat spawning areas and meadow runoff. As we speak, salmon are spawning alongside our trail as it winds uphill. In fairness to the other existing subdivision developers in the state of Cordova, the University of Alaska Land Management Office should be required to abide by city code and to put in roads and utilities to each proposed lot in Meadowview subdivision. Do you have any time left?
Right on.
Okay,
Sorry, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the written comments.
this is only about half of what there is to say on this subject. And I didn't find out about it until a week after the comment period started while I was in Anchorage at doctor appointments. So this has all been very rushed and we feel unfairly treated by the university. Thank you.
Thank you. Audience participation? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Smith and council members and everyone else. My name is Ursula Schultz. I reside at 109 West Council. And I'm here to address the lease that we have with the city on block 2, block 7, Northfield Development Park. I'm gonna read just because it keeps me on track. I am here to provide additional information and update regarding our letter in your packet. We moved onto this property in June of 2000. In the 25 years we have used it for our commercial operations, we have paid $149,263 in rent and $11,433 in property tax. It has been essential to store and stage the equipment, trailers, and materials needed for us to provide services to our customers. Our business utilizes many types of trailers, from boat trailers to car and equipment carriers, flatbeds for blocking and stands, utility trailers. Throughout our decades in business, Rick has salvaged equipment for reuse. Many of the trailer parts and materials he has kept are not readily available commercially or affordable to ship to this remote location. Countless times, Rick has supplied an item to solve a need, thereby assisting a local fisherman or tradesman to get back into business. Consequently, we find the repeated use of the word junk in the city planner's communications and addendums to be defamatory and inappropriate. Granted, salvage isn't pretty. However, an active practice of reuse, repurpose, and recycle are productive and avoid wanton waste. In the last week, we have removed or disposed of even more items from the lot. Additionally, we have arranged for an alternate location to move the remaining equipment and storage containers to. This will require significant coordination and time, which is why we are asking for a 60-day extension to perform this safely. We expect to complete vacating the property ahead of this time frame. However, it will help accommodate a necessary medical trip next week and an unpredictable fall weather delay. I will remain in the audience during this meeting to be available if you have questions while you consider our request. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Any other audience comments about agenda items? Council members. Okay, I was like, where are you guys going? Come on. So many. Sorry, thank you for just making that entrance, I guess. Brooke Mallory, 1027 Ledgewood Road. I'm here today on behalf of MBE. I believe it's item number 12 on your new business agenda. I'm here regarding the city lots 19 through 25, essentially between Pioneer Square or the old museum and Manacles on Second Street, Nevins. MBE had a proposal or put a proposal in that planning commission, I believe, gave their recommendation to city council to accept from MBE. MBE is interested in this land because of its location, being in the community core and next to education. It's close to downtown where our museum really should be, as well as next to the schools for education classes, as well as providing a large enough location to build what we're seeking to build. I'll get into that. The Alonga Cultural Center is the only tribally owned museum in the Chugach region. It was moved from its old location down on Nicollet Way in 2020 because we thought we were renovating the old bookstore buildings and the tower building on Main Street. And we were unable to get enough of the land we were hoping to after extensive engineering for that project. And so it's been in kind of a holding pattern down next to the lumber yard at the end of First Street. The cultural center is not only a museum and collection space and archives, but it teaches classes both for languages and traditional skills. It's essentially kind of the heart and soul of the Native Village Act. It staffs, I believe, 6 people year round. It's grown throughout the years. It's one of the things that MBE as a tribal government, we can fund it whether or not the gift shop makes enough money to pay for everybody. So we're not looking at this necessarily as solely an economic boon and having more face time with people, although that's a big plus for us. We know that we're gonna keep it open no matter where it is. Part of that location includes the fact that we're working with the Berlin Museum on the largest possible repatriation of the largest collection of Giak artifacts. And I don't know how many of you deal with your own historical society museum items, but the collection space for museums is usually larger than the space to show them, or it should be. You need to properly store them and clean them. And so it's a really big deal when you're looking at hundreds of artifacts possibly coming back to this area. We're also looking on top of building out a tribal hall. We need a location, we're looking for a location that can hold over 200 people with a commercial kitchen. Not to try to compete with any other organization or business, city, school. But essentially it's pretty hard to get all of the staff. Am I already at 3 minutes? Are you kidding me? Come on now. I should talk faster. Okay, well, anyway, I think MBE has shown its ability to do projects, big projects well. And we're having a new cultural center in this community will only help promote this to outside organizations and investors and businesses to show that Cordova still is thriving. And
having a showcase piece like that, the city doesn't have to pay for it. Which usually museums are kind of city pieces, really would be a huge boon to the community, and I hope you accept their proposal tonight. Thanks.
Thanks for the remarks.
Okay, I'll get the pool conversation started. I'm Charlotte Westing. I'm a mom, a resident of this town, friend to many of you, and I want to talk about the pool. So, the Bobhorn Pool is named for a guy that, from what I understand, really felt strongly about people in this community learning how to swim, particularly kids with all the time they spend fishing and on boats and around the water. With a summer like we've had this year, man, that's never been more important that kids understand water safety. And so I've seen many of you at the pool, whether that's during tot time when my kids were little, or last swim, or at other times, but I don't think a lot of people really understand how much that pool is used, because a lot of it happens while they're still asleep. I'm an ice worm swim coach, both my kids are ice worms. I've become a swim official, my husband volunteers there. And I think last year we had about 70 swimmers at one point, 80 swimmers signed up for swimming. So we have tons of youth participation in a sport that is nothing but positive for them. They get moving in the morning. They come to school more centered and ready to learn. They've gotten a lot of their yayas out for the day. Teachers have said that they can notice the difference on the days their kids go to swimming and the days that they don't. Also with physical exercise, as most of you know, there's huge mental health benefits that come from that. And in a town that gets as much rain as we do, having access to a pool to continue to do your workouts is pretty awesome. And honestly, it's part of why I love this place so much is we've got a ski hill and we've got a swimming pool and we've got so many ways to enjoy what this community has. At this point, a significant amount of money has been invested to keep this pool running. And it seems like we're almost there. We just need just a little bit more love sent to the pool to keep this happening. If you think about the fact that every kid, K through 6, in our school gets swimming at least once a week, how many schools in our country can say that? How many kids even have PE anymore? And our kids get to have PE, they get to have great lunches, and they get to have time in the pool. That's amazing, and I'd love for us to be able to keep that going long term. That's all I got. I got extra time.
Thank you for coaching.
I'll follow up with another Westing here, Lance Westing, 798 Chase, they were in the same house as the previous. I wanted to just give a little bit different perspective, on pool and athletics and just physical education in general. I am a teacher and haven't done a lot at Adams, but I have done it long enough to see programs come and go and seen the effects on kids when they come and go. We went through a period here, we didn't really have a PE teacher, we have a great one now. And the positive effect on kids is noticeable and palpable, it has an effect on the entire school culture. Swimming in our pool, I think, has a similar effect. I see it firsthand with my own kids, the confidence and the development that occurs through swimming and other activities, but swimming provides things that other activities don't. It's very clear that kids having access to a variety of physical activities is pretty essential for their development and their long-term health and injury prevention. I know we're all kind of on the same team here, but anything we can do to maintain access to a swimming pool in this town. And any athletic or physical endeavor along with other aspects of our educational program. So thank you. So I supposed to say anything else as far as that address or?
Thanks for coaching. And teaching.
Clay Copeland, 100 Jensen Drive. I'm here representing Cordova Electric Cooperative and speaking to the executive session item. you saw my letter, or a letter of offer, you will see it in executive session. And I will stay through the end of the meeting in case there's any questions you wanna ask, but, just really encourage you to, approve that. When Cordova Electric, started leasing that property, it was just a rock wall. And so we recognize the financial constraints that the city's under right now, and this would be a cash positive move. City manager and I were just kind of reminiscing that we have shared almost $500,000 of fuel cleanup costs at the old diesel plant site that we used to share. I think it would de-risk that potentiality for the city, so just really encourage you to vote for that. But in the larger context, I've spent 9 years on your side of the table, and we're in one of those cycles where we have a lot of financial headwinds and a lot of angst. And I've heard talk about this facility and whatnot, but in 2000, we only had one grocery store. The Reluctant Fisherman was closed. North Pacific Processors, now is Trident North, was closed. Our population was 2,100 and declining. And we got together and hosted a town hall meeting. It had 700 or 800 people in the gym. And we said the 3 priorities came out of that: renovate our elementary school, get a boat haul out, and build this Cordova Center. And we got that done. But it was really helpful to have the community get behind those and support them, and pull the organizations of the community together and make some positive change in the community. And so I want to thank you all for your service, and just let you know you don't have to shoulder this alone. It feels like it's time to have another town hall, get people off the Facebook chat or into the room together. A lot of our organizations have really been working collaboratively over the last couple of years, but we haven't really all got together as a group and had those kind of community leadership meetings in the town hall to kind of refocus in this new uncertain normal that we're facing. And nobody thrives like Cordova when we tackle problems together. And it feels like it's time to do that. So thanks again, and I'll stick around for the executive session in case there's any questions there.
Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Marcel Wagner. I am a resident of Cordova. And I'm also a PE teacher and swim teacher and coach of Cordova Iceland same thing. I'm here for asking if you can make the pool priority. I'm getting sensitive over it, I'm sorry, because it's I think our junior students running through the hallway. They need to be in the water. Swimmers cannot get better if they are not in the water. An option of swimming in a lake in a wetsuit with the dead fish on the beach, that's not what they should do as a junior high swim team. I also see the difference between children enter the pool the first day and enjoying the pool through the school. I worked before with special needs kids. The smile they can give you in the water, how they change the pressure of the water, what can do to the kids when they are not happy every day in the building. It's amazing. I am, as a swim team coach, I'm there every day, Monday through Saturday, 6 to 8. And they are coming happy, 80 kids every day. It's okay, 40, we cannot put 80 kids in the water. But they are happy. It doesn't matter what happened in the morning, who pulled them out from the bed, in the throw fit, they enter the water and they have smile. They want to swim, they want to compete, they want to do it, they are team, they support each other. I seen my kids at the swim meets making so many friends everywhere. Bodies, Anchorage, Ketchikan. It's so important for them to continue through the water side, not through the gym and running circles. We have different cross country. It's amazing. But if they want to be swimmers and continue with this, we need a pool. I need a pool for my school, my job. I'm teaching water safety for children. I'm teaching how to jump in the water if the boat sinks, how to act in a submerged suit need a relearn. It's not survival, so it's emerged. What to do in the water. I have amazing support from state troopers and they came last year and the kids been so excited to have the people there and learn from them. So please, that's all I have to say. Make it priority. Thank you.
Coaching.
Hello, Craig Coons, 444 Street, just speaking in favor of the pool. They've all said it way better than I can. I have 4 kids in the system and grateful for all of that. I went through the system, probably a few more in the room too, maybe, but it's pretty cool, the stuff that we all learned in the pool, the survival suits and not to be afraid of the water and jumping in with all your clothes on and then knowing what drowning really feels like. That's pretty humbling. So just make it a priority. I would ask, no offense to any engineers in the room, don't let the engineers get a hold of it and run with it and create problems that don't exist so they can come up with complex, elegant answers that they may not need. All the respect in the world for Clay, that's not it, but he knows what I'm talking about. So just manage it accordingly so it doesn't cost $1 billion. It probably doesn't have to, but it's probably gonna take some money and to do it right, probably gonna have to spend more than is comfortable. So we don't have to have this conversation again in 5 years, no bubble gum or duct tape. But I don't know, do it right the first time if we can, but please try to make it a priority. I realize all the headwinds that we're all in and you guys are in and trying to solve all the problems with a small checkbook. So thanks for doing what you guys do and good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sierra Wesley. I've been a member of the ice cream swim team since I was about 10. And I would just like to say that I consider myself to be an anxious person. And amongst a lot of things that the pool has helped me with, one of them is just like knowing what to do if you're in a situation in the water that you don't want to be in and you want to survive, right? And so just having a little bit of clarity on that. I mean, my family owns a boat. We go out on a boat, we fish, we take a lot of people fishing. Just like having a little bit of clarity and knowing that you could deal with situations if you needed to. That's just been really good for me. That's from the school portion of the swim program. I'd also like to bring up that I just really enjoy sports in general. And it's a constant struggle for me to get, my friends, people in my class to join the sports that I really enjoy and do the things that I really enjoy because I get a lot out of these things. And I want other people to as well. And I've also met a lot of people who they find something particularly special about swimming that they don't find in other sports. And to take away that piece of their life would be devastating. I mean, some people swimming is the only sport that they will do. And it's helped me a lot. Like I've had some foot issues because I'm primarily a runner and I joined swimming and like it was just a way to be active and it like takes the weight off your body and you can do it till you're old and it's just a really great resource for people of all ages, anyone, and to learn how to swim. Obviously, that's should be a priority in a fishing town. So I know a lot of people have restated these things differently, and as far as money, I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, just like Marcella said, prioritize it, please. The pool means a lot to a lot of people. I know some people doesn't mean enough to them to come and talk at the city council meeting, but rather you were at Top Swim as a little kid, or if you're on the team now, or you go to school. Everybody, like the pool is a part of their lives here, and yeah, I just ask that you can try and prioritize that because there's a lot of reasons why it should stay. So, thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Thank you, Sarah.
Hello, I am Drake Weston. And I have been a part of the swim team for like 3 years now. And when I get into the water and just start swimming, I feel so good and I feel relaxed. Like whatever you're going through, when you get into the water, you feel better and you feel more free. You can like have fun in the water, you can splash around. But if you swim, that's just another way to have fun. And so when you get into the pool, you think, like, why do some people not want to go into the pool? Why do some people think that the pool is scared? People shouldn't think the pool is scared because if they are out on a boat, like a bunch of other people said, they are going to need to know how to swim and like swim, be able to know like how to stay floating, let's say, tread water. And if we have the ability to be in the pool when we want to, it is an opportunity to have lots of fun. And I think that if we could get the pool back going again, that would mean a lot to everyone on the swim team, and that would mean a lot to me and my family too. Thank you.
It's safe to say there really is something in the water, especially in the Weston household. Any other audience participation, comments? See some folks who haven't taken a turn.
Hello, I'm Ellen Sheridan. I live at 610 Spruce Street. And I can say that my family has been deeply affected by having access to a pool. And my children have been the ones who have had better results in school because they've had that opportunity to get their energy out before school. And having the feedback from teachers to say, I can tell when your child is at school in the morning and in the days that they're not. And again, the confidence that it builds in children to have it's such an amazing environment to thrive in, and the spirit that has grown from the team that has developed around, you know, the age group that my children are in is so special. I do want to speak just to having increased access to indoor activities in a place that we live in is vital and crucial, as well as maintaining access to services that people with limited abilities have, you know, people that can't go to the gym, you know, it's very specific, you know, who wants to go to the gym, who wants to go to the pool. Some people do both, but it opens up opportunities to folks with disabilities to have options where they might not otherwise be. So any support to prioritize maintaining full access would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Audience participation? Anybody know? All right, thanks, everyone. So, chairpersons and representatives of boards and commissions. Think. Anything? To speak under that, approval of consent calendar.
Okay, so on the consent calendar, Kathy Sherman,
Yes.
Dave Zastro,
Yes.
Deborah Adams,
Yes.
Casey Kinsler,
Yes.
Wendy Rainey,
Yes.
Aaron Hanson.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved.
Great, so approval of minutes, we just took care of that, we don't have any bids, proposals or contracts, reports of officers. I didn't have a mayor's report, a written one this week, and I did want, I think maybe the clerk forwarded it, but it occurred to me after the last meeting that I should have said I'd like to send a letter to Representative Stutes and Senator Stevens and thank them for the action to support education funding. in the special session that they had a couple weeks ago, so. Unless there's a major objection to that, I will go ahead and draft something and get that sent out. And. Yeah, are there any questions? Me that I might be able to answer? Okay, we can go on to the city manager's report, the written reports on page 5. So I'll turn it over to Sam.
Okay, just have a couple of updates. So we have hired a communication clerk, which is a dispatcher. They will start 9/2. I really don't remember the last time that there was 5 people, but they were fully staffed, so that's amazing. The other one is Ryan
McMahon.
I struggle. Has come on as a temporary officer, so he's here doing some relief. The police are now back to where they were when Pfizer was still working. He has moved on. We have a DMV person, but it won't be open tomorrow. So we'll make sure it takes time. They have to go through all the state background checks and all their requirements. Then training starts. And then they let you do so much, and then you have to pass a test, and then you get to do more stuff, so. They're on board, we're working in the direction, but it will not happen tomorrow. I know that training, will depend on how long it takes them to get the background, so. But since DMV's been here, they really move forward, because they would love to come back, the people. But DMV's, the travel is really for very remote places. So we did do interviews for the fire medic positions, and those are just under consideration. I don't think I have anything else to add. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any questions. Happy to answer.
Sure. You mentioned in your report, you might have an update for this meeting on the pool.
So the water sewer department did get their new camera piece. And maybe we have the back there, all those people back there. I'll let her tell you what and then.
Hello, everyone. So, update on the pool. So today they did get their new piece. So it's a tracer that goes down in the pipe, because we have no drawings of any of the plumbing of the pool. So we're kind of guessing at a lot of things, which is really unfortunate. But so they got the piece in, it was a little late. They couldn't get it in the pipe when they were working on it this morning. We came up with a plan, Micah came up with a plan to cut into a pipe, which we can patch and hopefully get it down in. We don't think that it's gonna reach where we think the leak is, but it will show us where the pipe comes out into the concrete. There's a lot going on in that area, so if we took the concrete out and had a straight shot down to it, that's a possibility. But there's a lot of things right now that are, we're weighing all the options and trying to make really informed decisions about it, because it's probably gonna cost some money. So we're just trying to see what our best bet is, and it's just really unfortunate that after fixing the gaskets and getting some relief with that, it did hold actually a lot better than it did before. So that was the main issue, that finding another issue was just a lot disappointing, so.
Yeah, so it will take some time to get that. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think that'll be a big point, and then, yeah, we just need to figure out where it is. And how do we fix it, and what those options are, and also. Are we fixing all of the pipe? Are we just fixing the leak? So there's a lot of considerations, and part of that needs to happen with where is it? Because that changes the dynamics of how much time and energy the fix is. So there's options, slip lining is an option, but it is dependent on where the leak is.
It is new pipe, we do know that, it was replaced in 2020. So we are, you know,
thinking that it might be a connection at the pipe that failed. On it, so,
The pipe that might need replacing was.
yeah, it was fixed in
A
2010.
leak is occurring in a pipe.
In a pipe that was completely replaced, that pipe was completely replaced in 2010. So we're not really sure why it's failing in that area, and then if we just do patch that, find it and patch it, is it gonna fail in other areas too in different connections? So weighing like, short-term, long-term options for it too. Of course, we're also looking at possibly opening up the pool on the liner too, and that, it's hard for me to say out loud. So talking to the lining company and the engineers about what that looks like. For us to do that, so, cause it is all underneath the aluminum shell.
But sounds like tomorrow's diagnostic efforts.
Still, yep, and the water sewer department, everyone's been so great. I was telling Sam today that they've been dropping everything to help out with this project, and we've been working a lot on it, so.
I was just gonna suggest that maybe to the extent, I realize there's still so many unknowns, but as you learn things, could the city maybe send out those? One of those government, what is it called, government PSA or what, I don't know what the service is.
Gov delivery.
Gov delivery, yeah, just thought maybe like every 2 weeks or something, just to give updates. I don't know.
I mean, we can make, I don't wanna set a time frame because I don't wanna say in 2 weeks, no update.
Just,
But yes, I think we could
Yeah.
maybe move in that direction. We have been updating Laura and Dave.
Yep, I've been working with the school,
Yeah.
with all the entities, thank you all for coming today, it's a big help. And it's displacing a lot of kids that come to the pool at this time, so coming up with a plan, and trying to help out where we can in the recreation area. There too, so, we understand that it's, a huge loss.
Right.
I mean, it seems like at a minimum, key points like tomorrow seems like a significant diagnostic
Yep.
effort. So
It is, we've
important.
had a few significant ones, yeah, you're right, and then,
So-
if we could, and then I do have a meeting next week, I encourage everyone to come to the Parks and Rec Commission meetings, it's the last Tuesday of every month at 6. And I give updates in that packet too, of what's going on. I am a little hesitant sometimes to put in things that we're really not sure.
I think it's okay
what
to
it
say
is,
that.
yeah,
and
we're just not,
It's obviously an issue that a lot of people are trying to follow, and I just thought the more we can share what we do know.
right,
It
and
just helps
transparency.
people, yes, exactly, and
Yeah,
then
definitely.
it just keeps people from making up information in the absence of information, because that happens.
And my door is always open, and
Mhm.
anyone can contact me and I'll give you an update. Everyone who's talked to me about the pool or Parks and Rec knows that I could talk about both subjects for a very long time. So. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, please, that's none.
As we're mentioning that there's no schematics, nothing, or even 2019.
Mhm.
It's not very long.
It was never,
So as we're moving forward, are we documenting this?
Yes.
Substantially and thoroughly?
yes, I am documenting it. I did find in the attic when we cleaned it up, we do have pictures of that, so we have some printouts of where they cut into, that's why I know it's new. And exactly where we're looking right now, so, before that, I didn't. There was no history for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Councilmember.
I just want to thank you for all of what you're doing, and I know that you were under a lot of pressure, and you have my. Thank you so much.
I guess one more thing, like, so the skips cabin, so within the next 2 weeks under
I'm
contract?
hoping so, we're getting it together, the power's been cut off, but, it needs to come, in my opinion. And I think a few others, that it is falling in right now, pretty substantially from what it has been, every week I go in there. And it's now pushing against the wood stove, the wall's just coming in, so I'm trying to make that in between the full thing, a priority to not, it hurts for me to have to take the cabin down, obviously. But it needs to be a priority to be habited.
So first day.
The safety hazard.
And I guess I just want to say thank you for making that a priority, because it's something that should have happened realistically decades ago. And no one's wanted to touch it, so thank you for being willing to touch it.
Excited for the future.
Yes, me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Any other questions for the city manager?
We need to speak to, if I might, the. Where are we at with fire and EMS? There's some shortfalls there. I continue to see like regular conversations, good, productive. How's
Yeah,
the
we're doing
community?
good.
Are we safe? Are we sound? What do we need?
We've always been
What-
safe and sound.
Perfect. I'm just getting questions on this, so that's fine.
We've always been safe and sound. We have an amazing group of volunteers as well as staff. Aaron is rocking it, him and Steven, who's the new deputy, alright. The new chief, are working well, getting things organized.
Good.
We are, they are strained with the volume of calls that have occurred this summer and also the lack of paid staff. So we are doing, I shouldn't say we, Aaron has spent a lot of time trying to get an EMS temporary person from either a company or reaching out, and it's a shortage across the country. So, but we are moving forward. We signed an MOU, the city and the volunteer fire department. That was a huge thing we've been working on since I started the committee with the fire department, so we're making a lot of progress. Yeah, it's been great to have Aaron and Steven that are working together on the volunteer fire department.
I appreciate a little more in depth on it, so thank you.
Okay. Then, we can move on to the city clerk's report. I guess,
I'll bring a couple things up that, pending agenda, I just wanted to say to you all that, it seems anytime I have a few things that I think are important for you to hear about or learn about, a convenient time is when I send your email that sends your council packet, so hopefully you guys have noticed that, and sometimes there's a few bullet points on there, or a little learning opportunity or something like that, so just pay attention to those as they come every other Friday, approximately every other, at least once a month. And that's it, I'll bring up a couple of things that any agenda that are coming up.
Yeah.
thank you. All right, so we have some correspondence. 4 items. Any comments about that?
Yeah, Mayor Smith, I'd like to move that we move item D, 08-13-25 into executive session.
Is there a second? Which, can you repeat that? Item D. Under correspondence.
I'll second.
Okay, so moved by Zastro and seconded by Randy. To move, or to take up item D under, executive session, they were on the agenda.
I think you can just say it, I don't think we need a motion, because I've written that you
Okay.
might decide to do it,
Okay.
so when we get down there.
Great.
To the executive session, we're just gonna motion to do 2.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then move on to ordinances and resolutions. And so we have resolution. Proposed resolution, regarding a sole source contract with appraisal company of Alaska for assessment services. Would entertain a motion if anybody wants to.
I'll move to approve resolution 08-25-22 approving 2026 to 2028 assessor non-assessment.
I'll second. Moved and seconded. To adopt resolution 08-25-22, Councilmember Kimpson.
Yes, mine, and this is straightforward and procedural. My concern is outside of 28, I know we've had conversations, I've had conversations with staff that this firm is an aging firm. And there is at some point where this firm probably won't be available to us anymore at their current trajectory with aging staff. Is there a need to address our code? Is there, what do we need to do to still be compliant with our code? Do we need to change our code to have some other means of assessing value without assessing value. I don't know the options here, but it is a concern of mine.
Well, it's certainly required in our code because it's required in statute.
Okay.
And we're not allowed to collect property taxes unless we do the assessing per, state mandated, methods and follow foreclosures and assessing and assessment notices and billing and how we're allowed to collect it and whatever. And, am I the staff member that made like you believe they were an aging
We're
group?
not the only one.
Okay, they're doing it and I'm not gonna. I hope that they don't get out of it and they have, different staff members for sure that come to different communities. And some are younger and newer in the field and ideally they'll keep serving us. I think we've been good to them and they've been pretty good to us and I think the community likes them as well, so. I'm hoping they're not going anywhere. I think it'll be very difficult to have an assessor on staff as a department of the city and as a full-time employee. I think it would cost us more and it would be a difficult position to fill.
Councilmember Sherman, did you have to?
Yes, I was just gonna point out that, I didn't even realize there were still 2 contract assessors in the state. I thought there was only 1, so there's very few assessors in the state of Alaska.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so. So I'm speaking in favor of the motion.
Anybody else? Council members have any comments on this one? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we come to resolution 082523.
Mayor Smith.
Yes, Councilmember Sherman.
I move to put resolution 082523, a resolution of the council of the city of Cordova, Alaska, supporting the University of Alaska Land Management Office Development and Disposal Plan Cordova subdivision on the table.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Sherman.
Well, I'm really happy that some of the residents of Mount or Beckles have come and spoken to us. I have been wondering what the residents were thinking about this proposal. I would be in favor of amending it to add the whereas. I think that's important that we consider the residents who already live there in this process. I know it's been rushed. And I think it would behoove us all to work well with the university. It's a great potential for housing and a new subdivision, but it would be nice to do it properly.
Let's see. So are you offering, I guess I should let council members Astro speak to it, and then if you want to offer a friendly amendment to the motion. Do that?
Yeah, however, that needs to be done, because I would be in favor with the amendment. So my second is considering with the amendment. Of it adding whereas. So-
Just formally do the amendment. It's on the table.
Right.
And that's fine, but let's now make a motion to amend and maybe say the whereas clause, does it
Okay.
help this?
So as make it.
And tell us where you're putting it.
Okay.
Uh-oh, now
As
it's
a, I'm giving you the glasses. As maker of the motion, I'd like to offer an amendment of a whereas. Clerk, is there?
I don't know, I haven't looked either.
Maybe the after the University of Alaska Development Disposal Land subdivision includes plating, road, utilities, development, and the other whereas that we're considering.
Okay.
So after the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 after the sixth whereas? Or is it after the,
After the sixth, yes.
okay,
So after the sixth, whereas, I suggest, the language, whereas the floating easements that provide access for Echoes Lagoon residents will need to be addressed if the development moves forward.
that's the motion.
I second it.
David is second.
So. Um. Okay, I guess is there a discussion on the motion, on the amendment? It's been moved and seconded to amend resolution.
I guess I would just add to that, yeah, it obviously was rushed. It's a good thing in general. It was obviously rushed, has an effect on our existing residents. And there was a comment made about the ability for the existing residents in that area to have a little bit more participation in how that land is developed. As it directly affects the folks that are within that community, with, right next to the potential subdivision. So, yeah, my hope is that we'd be able to allow them to have a little bit more access into the planning process.
Mayor Smith.
Yes.
I'd just like to apologize to Curtis. I did go back into my email and it was there. This is unfortunately for me, not an email reading time of year. I did receive it though, and I apologize for not reaching out to you. So it was there.
I did not receive it. I went as you were reading, so.
So any further discussion on the proposed amendment to the motion to add that whereas? All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, so is there open for discussion on the main motion? Or any other comments? So this resolution is going to the university as a initial show of support with the disposal project. It's not a comment on whether or not their proposed subdivision aligns with city code or anything at this point.
Correct,
Just
they haven't even, I mean, this isn't a done deal, so first they have to get approval here, then they have to go through finance.
Right.
So, yes, this is just supporting
This
the
is very
concept
initial.
of moving forward.
Yes, so folks.
And I was just, obviously, we have a good turnout today, and anyone who's listening, it's a great opportunity to have some influence over some change in our community. So hopefully.
I'll do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I think on the
Friday.
But I mean, as this goes forward, even if this goes forward past this process, turns into a subdivision, there's gonna be multiple layers of comment periods throughout this, and so. It's out there, it's happening in our community. It affects our community, it definitely affects a handful of residents that really are a lot of our friends and neighbors and community members, so. Just saying, seems like our community does really well when there's something to rally behind, and this might be a thing to rally behind.
Mayor Smith.
Yes.
Just for those people in the audience and people listening that, so written public comment can be received by email on or before Friday, August 22nd at 5 p.m. There's a live stream public comment session on Wednesday, September 3rd. There's a committee meeting on Thursday, September 4th, where the proposal will be voted on. And then there's a final vote Friday, September 5th. So there's a lot of ways to, and this is all through the University of Alaska Land Management, which you can find online. But there is opportunity for us all to participate.
Right, on the main motion then, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Great. And so we come to new and miscellaneous business. And The first item there is council action on disposal of lot 2, block 7A, Tidewater Development Park. Would anyone care to make a motion to put this on the table?
Yeah, move to recommend the city council approve the proposal from Serenity Event Village LLC to lease or purchase lot 2, block 7A, Tidewater Development Park.
Second, thank you. Councilmember Kinsman.
Here's for me, I've even seen some from other committees, several nays. I just want to know, does this affect like our future harbor development if this specific business takes this? If correct, what are we losing as a city and a community if, make sure I say it correctly, Serenity Adventure Lodge LLC chooses to take over this specific area? What are our risks as a city if this happens?
Are you talking about purchasing or leasing?
I'm fine with leasing, we sell, that's I know we've had some exceptions,
Purchase to lease.
purchase to lease.
Lease,
That's what I-
Lease to purchase.
Lease to purchase, yes, thank you. Lease to purchase, consistent with a lot of other contracts we've done, I know we've made a few exceptions, I feel very specific exceptions. But yeah, lease to purchase, we can, during that negotiation process, we can discuss terms if that's like really getting hung up on that. Or if you need that guidance now, I guess I'm just curious why we wouldn't do this, maybe there's something I'm missing. Other than I know the individual is a very vocal individual in our community, there's some emotions tied to it, it's like.
Well, that's not my,
I know it's not
my issue, but
I know it's not
think,
yours, but I can see that as a potentially some nays on harbor commission and potentially for planning and zoning, maybe not, I don't
well, I
know.
mean, we have time come up, but I. And.
Is-
He was at the meeting, I was not, but. In general, as a city manager, I would say, we do not want to sell. Property forever, be gone, we never get to use it again, that resides within the harbor.
We're talking about land, not that the actual building is one thing, we're talking about Tidewater. We don't want to sell that. What you're saying, it's a world, yeah.
Well,
I don't know, I mean,
That's right.
Tony can
I-
address what happened at the harbor commission and Amanda can address what happened at P and Z.
I would say with harbor commissioners, and I mean, I agree with them, is that when you sell land in the harbor, you're never getting it back. And if we ever get the money to do the PID that we've put in 3 times for, if you sell that land that's underneath that building, we're never gonna expand. I mean, this basin is small compared to some. There's nowhere to go but over there. And, you know, we kind of pushed the science center out of there saying, hey, we're going over there, we're gonna get over there and we're gonna do something. And we didn't get the PID and we don't have the money now to do it, but who knows, 10, 20 years down the road, and we need to expand or put that floating fuel dock, which Shoreside is dying to do. I mean, I talked to the owner just the other day about it. I mean, they wanna invest money in here and we give it away, we're never getting it back. Definitely not the price we sold it for. It's just, yeah, we have 2 leases in the harbor that we'll never probably get back, but I mean, if we really tried, we could. But when you sell it, you don't get it back.
and I guess the question is, was that the thinking of those at the harbor commission? That was the main.
Yeah.
The rationale for their vote that way is.
Yeah, for years, we voted to, you know, not sell it or continue even the lease with the science center.
So they were voting against selling.
Yeah, and that was part of that Serenity's proposal, is to buy. Yeah, leasing is a whole different story, just in a lease.
Oh, wait, Councilmember Adams, you had.
Well,
Point of order.
that order.
Okay, second.
Oh,
I'm
can I
sorry,
finish
okay.
mine first?
Sorry, okay. Sure.
With that, I guess I just wanna clarify that, Shoreside, like, it's a one or the other, Shoreside wants to move in there. And if this happens, then Shoreside cannot move in there.
That's correct, there's no room over there.
Okay, great, I just want that on record, I wanna make sure that's clear, what's going on, what's the greater benefit for the fleet as a whole.
Yeah, in that spot, there's
Okay.
where they wanna go, yeah.
And just in general. To lose property within the harbor, whether it's there or anywhere. it takes it out of the city's hands, and that's our harbor that we support our fishermen with, and so I just feel like selling property within the harbor overall is a detriment. It's not in the best interest of the city.
And I guess, is there an amendment needed if I wanted to specifically say a lease to Serenity with no option now, and I don't?
I'm gonna get the council members
Right.
ready, and that's the second, and then we give.
Well, that, I would like to have an answer to that question from the clerk, should he mention that now?
I don't know if it's. Is it? I don't know.
His
Wasn't in the proposal.
Yeah, his proposal doesn't include a price, you know, he didn't
Yeah,
put the lease in there, so I guess I don't know, and
I guess the way I read it was. This is the preferred to be able to purchase.
correct.
This is what allows me to do this, and this, and this if I'm able to purchase. And which is fine, I mean, if there's no option for lease, then we can move forward with that, but. I have no problem leasing it to them if they can be amendable to leasing, giving to, and they may not be, and that's fine, and. And we're stuck with the empty building a little longer and we will figure it out from there.
I just have one quick question, Tony, so this eliminates the grid. If we would, right,
If we did what Serenity Charters wants to do,
Right.
yes, we would eliminate the grid.
how does that affect, cause there's only been one other.
It's not huge, I mean,
Mhm.
we currently use that old grid, but we've restricted to boats less than 40 feet.
Yeah,
And, you know, it's not that many people that use it. I mean,
yeah.
there's some old timers. So, yeah,
Paper boats did.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Adams.
You know, I've read this over and over again, and my, understanding when we put this RFP out, it was for the Science Center building, period. Not for Tide Lot, not for floating whatevers, not for the grid. It was for the Science Center building, and that was it, and it has morphed into something that was not the original intention, is my sense of this, and I can't support it because it's changed to, it's something different than what we've started out with. And presumptuous in that my question was the grid as well, because that was our grid. For older boats, wooden boats, that grid's more, amenable. So I don't know what happened in this process, and I haven't seen the original RFP, but I don't think it included Tidewater real estate.
And is that something that planning and zoning needs to speak to, if it included that? There's a question on that.
Good question.
Yes. Come on up.
What's the question? What specifically are you guys?
Typically, what did the RFP say?
Okay, so the RFP said, for lease or purchase of the structure, so the structure could be removed from the lot.
That's how.
Or used on the line.
Yeah, you could use the structure on the lot, or you could remove the structure from the lot.
I
But it
don't
was
think
not for the
specifically,
whole.
the Councilmember Adams was wanting specifically to high land,
No.
vital land.
No tideline,
Okay,
please.
perfect. Thank you.
So we have. Motion on the table. That, is response to the proposal, but it sounds like people are saying the proposal was not responsive to the RFP, so,
Right.
yeah. So I guess there are options, one is to vote down the motion, to amend the motion, or vote down the motion and propose a new one if somebody wants to offer something different, or
And whereas there's nothing stating within there, and my understanding for a lease option, it's only a sell option or contract. If they want to come back with a lease option, I mean, can entertain that at some point. It doesn't sound like that will happen, so.
Yeah,
I think probably the cleanest thing is to put it down.
yeah, I mean, I would concur with that, because the one we have on the table here didn't respond appropriately to the RFP.
it does say on page 48, the alternative consideration of a long-term lease with renewal options for tidelands, similar to past arrangements, further demonstrates flexibility in meeting the criteria, but that's not, I'm just saying, it sounds like the proposer is open to a lease, but that's not a proposal, I'm just saying, so.
I guess, I mean, make another comment, if this, if we're looking at a one or the other between this or shoreside. Again, I'm gonna go behind the benefit to the fleet as a whole is, fuel, some kind of floating fuel dock within our basin. So that's my opinion, that's also what I've heard from other community members is the benefit of having that there. I don't know how far out that is, sounds like. The harbor masters had some conversations there, but.
I'm not opposed to having this adventure lodge take over the science center, I think that's a great idea. But it seems to come in a package that's much larger than what we started with. And, I support having someone utilize that space. I don't support, as having been a teacher, you didn't answer the question. And I can't grade it then.
I obviously am in favor of the Adventure Lodge business plan. I think Serenity has a great plan, I just don't think this is the place for it. An Adventure Lodge takes more than the footprint of a wooden building, and I don't think that's an option to operate there for everything that they would like to do. Moving forward, I think I certainly welcome another Adventure Lodge business in the community. I think there's plenty of room for it, but I believe that this is not the location for it. It's not what's best for the fleet and the community, so I would be voting down anything pertaining to this proposal.
Further comments? Discussion? Okay, so the motion on the table is to. The motion on the table is to recommend city council approve the proposal from Serenity Adventure Lodge. I don't remember if it's that to lease or purchase.
Yeah.
I think he did say to reserve or
Lease or purchase. Lot 2, block 7A, Tidewater Development Park, and so. That designation includes Tidelands, right? That's not just the building. The lot 2, block 7A.
Yeah, it's really a portion of lot 2, block 7A, two. Lot 2, block 7A is the whole basin, I think.
Right. But I'm just saying that is referring to the Tidelands and not just the building. Which.
I agree, that's what the motion said.
Okay. Just to be clear, because we were making that distinction between the RFP asking for proposals with regard to the building itself. So. Right, well, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign? Aye. Fails. Right. We can go on to. Council action on disposal of lots 19 through 25, block 6, original town site. That's on page 3.
Yes, Mayor, go ahead.
Councilmember Sherman, yes.
I move to approve the proposal from Native Village React to lease or purchase lots 19 to 25, block 6 original town site.
I second. It's been moved by Councilmember Sherman and seconded by Randy and Councilmember Sherman.
Yeah, I have been watching this for the Native Village Act for many, many years. I remember back in 1988 having a discussion with Bruce Hendricks about the importance of the cultural center to Cordova, and then especially after the oil spill, there was a need for a repository within the Chugash region, and we've been fighting for that for a very long time, so I am more than excited to see this proposal. I also think it makes a lot of sense to be in the core of the community and also adjacent to the elementary school and within walking distance of everything else right here. I think the education programs that the cultural center offers are a benefit far beyond our community and the region. And I just, the educational program that with the school and with adults and others is a huge benefit to our community. And my brother's here visiting, and he said, oh, I want to go to the cultural center. And I looked at him throwing daggers because I used to run the museum, and I said, don't you want to go see the museum? And he goes, oh, yeah, both, he said. So anyway, I think it's really important and a high time that we support the mission of the cultural center. Thank you. Councilmember Rainey?
I'm gonna correct you, it's Raymond.
Rainey,
Sorry, that was dumb. I just think that the location across from the elementary school is ideal for an NBE cultural center. NBE is working with the community with housing in other areas. I was watching the planning commission meeting regarding these properties, and there were some questions asked of NBE regarding the other properties close to that area and what their potential use for the might be down the road. And I believe that they are also taking into consideration the housing needs of the community, but I think the location there for a cultural center tying in with education there's not a better spot for it than right across from the elementary school. And I believe that it would be a great advantage for Cordova to have that site take on their vision moving forward.
Sure. I concur with everything that Councilmember Rainey and Herman have already said. The location seems to be, and the purpose for the building is seems like the best possible purpose for that location. And I'd also like to add, as we've seen the Native Village do a variety of projects around the community, they definitely have proven their ability to do complex construction projects and get them done. So I have all the confidence that they'll get this done as well. So I'll be supporting this.
Yes. I did want to say that I do appreciate the Jones Properties proposal. It is definitely something that Cordova needs in regards to housing. They just purchased another facility, gingerbread house, and I would hope that they would take their plan, to the gingerbread house for adding housing to Cordova as they move forward. I do appreciate the fact that they're stepping up and willing to put it out there to provide housing. I just think that location would be better served with a cultural center.
I just appreciate all the letters of support from a wide range of community entities for the cultural site. Not just NBE who's posing this, but their credible endorsement of the project. So I would be in support of it as well.
Yeah, if I might, I'll be in support of this, makes sense, and obviously representing the community has. Absolutely spoken in favor of this, which is valuable, that's great, if I can see the benefit to it, and really. Appreciate, build a good stewardship and partnership and sensitivity to our housing needs, whether that's in whatever form that can be incorporated in this building. I have full confidence that will be at least taken under advisement by NBE, which is great. To Councilmember Rainey's point, I want to absolutely, give some kudos and some support to Jones Property LLC for wanting to do this. This is great, and I absolutely look forward to seeing what they come up with for the gingerbread housing building and whatever the future takes them. Fortunately, I think this site, unfortunately for them, and fortunately for our community, I feel the site is gonna be better suited, served with our cultural center. I look forward to seeing it. You know, hopefully the next decade, that'd be pretty cool. I know it's a big building, big project, but it's exciting.
Other round of comments? Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion that was made by Sherman and Rainey, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign? Motion passes. Great, so we come to the pending agenda. She's on page 144.
So at the last meeting, we heard from Shay from. What do you say, rural?
Rural, yeah.
Rural. And they are available to come September 3rd and thought that the presentation might be lengthy enough for warranting, the 6 P.M. work session. So that's what we'll do. And I think you guys had asked to invite the planning commission, so we will.
I want to make sure that's noted for community as well. There's, our work sessions aren't closed door. So
September 3rd, 6 P.M.
they're,
Which is an hour before the next regular council meeting. Oh, one other small thing I have coming is the proclamation for the sobriety celebration, which will be in November. But they've already asked me for the proclamation. I thought I'd wait till closer to then. So they're actually reviewing the draft I made, so that will be in an upcoming meeting, maybe in October.
I thought it was quite prudent of the former Mayor Copeland's, a town hall suggestion, and so maybe we can. That as a priority at some time in our fall to spring timeframe when. I'll say, a talent of yours, now Mayor Smith, to coordinate these types of events, and I would be happy to support in any way possible, but I think it's not going to hurt our community by doing so. And that's kind of how I'm trying to look at things. It won't hurt us.
Right, I was mostly thinking about the budget process, that's coming up, and that's gonna be a lot of discussion about community priorities and the. So maybe we focus on getting through that and see where that puts us.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I did wanna ask on the list that's on page 114, the number 1 item, public safety resources. That seems kind of vague, and it's been on there for a long time, and I thought, we have talked about public safety, is that something that could come off, because it doesn't have a very specific focus? And we have been talking about public safety, and a lot of things are, aren't happening in that department already, so.
Fine with me.
Sir,
Does anybody feel like they wanted?
No, I think I think a lot of things could come off, but that one in particular.
Okay. make me able to use a bigger font on that page.
Any other comments for pending agenda?
Mayor,
Yes.
has there been any news on the Anchor purchase?
I have not heard anything, I have not contacted them. I believe the owners participate in the same fishery, so I was kind of waiting for that to end. To maybe send an email in September.
Well, the liquor license did get transferred. Be sure, to Jen's.
What?
Didn't it?
I don't know,
I think
No.
that's,
but we would have seen that.
Yeah.
well, I guess that's in process.
Oh,
That's an update.
okay, that's an update.
Yeah, well, I
didn't
mean,
know
it's
that.
not official, it's,
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah, you guys haven't seen notice from the state, but. That's what I'm, street talk that I'm hearing.
okay, street,
Yeah.
street, come on,
You're saying?
I know. I'll,
I'll try to get an update, a more official update.
I'll look as well. Just to see if it has made anything at the info office yet.
Okay.
I would think we'd hear from them if it did.
Right.
But it also has to get, posted around town and things like that, so I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. Right. This we can go to audience participation. Does anyone in the audience who wants to come up and comment about anything? Even things that are not on tonight's agenda?
Good evening, Stephen Phillips, 100 Gandil. I'm your fire chief. I'm super stoked to see that come off within the agenda because I remember the meeting that it was put on the agenda was kind of heated about whether we were going to respond and whether an ambulance was gonna roll out of the bay. To that fact, I was gonna come up and speak anyway, because I wanted to give you guys a quick update on our apparatus, specifically because of that comment back in January was that we couldn't flow water and that our engines wouldn't pump and they wouldn't draft and all these negatives that were rumored. So engine 14, which is the older E1 engine that we got from Valdez for the cost of a ferry trip and a couple of nice stays. It was not drafting, it was pumping just fine. It now officially drafts. I'd like to commend the city shop for their ingenuity in fixing that problem. Supposedly a blade inside the pump had broken off and lodged somewhere and they had to weld it back on. So we did test that last week and it does pump. Engine 3, which is our flagship engine, which is the one that rolls out when we have an emergency call. It does pump, it does draft. It is not in the best of shape. It smells pretty terrible when we do start pumping, but it does actually function. So as we get into budget talks and times, it's definitely not something we absolutely have to do next year, but we really need to consider replacing our frontline engine. It's already out of NFPA spec. It's supposed to be 20 years old at max, but it's well over that now. I think it's pushing 25. So with that, talking to my staff and making some strategic changes, we moved tanker 9 out of the substation and put it into the fire hall, so our primary station, as a way to reduce the risk of engine 3's failure. So engine 14, which is the E1 engine I just spoke of, now lives at the substation. That puts us well within getting our 3,000 gallons on the fire at any given time. With that, I'd like to commend Sam for getting the MOU signed. Like, that's huge. The fact that we've been operating as a department on the sheer will that everyone wants to, and there's no documentation saying that we should. I'm glad to have that resolved. And then with that, we've also started seeking other funding from other entities in town, kind of waiting on some answers from them. To get some of our short-term projects done so that we're not eating into the city budget on that. So, thank you all for all the things that you do and for caring about the volunteers that serve this community as well. So thank you.
Thank you. It's great.
I just needed another 3 minutes. North Mallard, 1027 Luncheon Road. I just wanted to say from the Native Village thank you so much for your vote tonight. I know our proposal did have a longer than expected timeline on there. But in part we're anticipating that there's probably gonna be some land cleanup, having that been a snow dump for so long. Not that anybody has land cleanup, right, Dottie? So, between that and really finding a good outer design that fits Cordova and fits, the Native Village EDS, aesthetic, to say, hey, there's a tribe here too. But we live in a rainforest and keeping that in mind. I think weighing that with, the other projects that ND has going on that are not small on their own. And with that, I guess I would like to say a thank you to your staff and Dr. Sanders for providing MBE additional information regarding those discussions on the hospital and possible merging of healthcare for the community. And we're not trying to slow roll that either. We're just trying to be thoughtful on our end. So I want to say that and say thank you guys and appreciate what you do.
Thanks.
Clay Cook on 100 Jensen Drive. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I'll be outside in executive session if there's any questions on the history or uses or improvements and stuff on that lot. And good meeting. And on the town hall, what I was suggesting is that we actually hired a facilitator last time. And I think, speaking for CEC, and I think other organizations will pitch in on that. It's kind of nice to have an outside facilitator so that everybody, including city council and stuff, can participate in the process. So thank you.
Thanks, thank you.
Michelle Hahn. I'd just like to thank you all for making the amendment on the resolution regarding the university land. It's nice to be acknowledged by all of you, and hopefully this will help once again bring this back to the university's mind that we are there and we are on the deeds and we are on the quit claims. I can't believe, but I guess I turned into one of the old timers after living here for 50 years, but I just wanted to address Whiskey Creek briefly here. When I first moved to Cordova, I ended up down in Eggles Lagoon, and I had a privilege of meeting the old timers that were there and across the creek, and there was very little development. I got to see the first blasting of the gravel pit across from where the Mormon church is now. And now so much has changed since then. The Baylor wasn't there. Whiskey Ridge subdivision had 2 houses. That's all that were up there. There was a house on the road and then Dave Branch's house. That was it in the whole, no Saddle Point, nothing. And at that time, Whiskey Creek flowed down, came down on Whiskey Ridge Road, which was why it was named Whiskey Creek. And it flowed down in front of our house, which we call the North Lagoon. And prior to the earthquake, Eccles Creek went out the South Lagoon. After the earthquake, that turned Eccles Creek into Whiskey Creek, and they both go out in front of our house. But the headwaters of Whiskey Creek have actually dissipated into runoff from all these various areas. And a couple of years ago, during the large salmon runs, you could see pink salmon spawning in the Mormon church drainage ditch and all the way up to the Baylor. And that little creek, which then flows, they all flow down into Whiskey Creek from all these different areas. And the little tributary that flows down in there provide an amazing amount of salmon habitat. And it's a precious thing that we need to be aware of and protect, which we have the ability to do. And I am in favor of the university land sale if it can be economically done and at the same time recognize and protect that amazing creek, which was named Whiskey Creek because during Prohibition, when the steamships came into Cordova, all the alcohol for Cordova that was then going to run up the Copper River on the train was unloaded in small boats and rode up that creek so that it couldn't be counted on the manifest when the steamship docked in Cordova. And just as a side note, my deceased husband's mother and aunt were two of the last people, they wrote the last steamship that came into Cordova. So there's a really fun history that's connected with all of this, including that the lot after the earthquake, it was a floating cannery and boatyard in Eccles Lagoon.
Okay, to the topic.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to stick to the.
Yeah, so anyway, they ended up bulldozing part of our land, which is now actually across the creek. And on a high tide, after a lot of rain, they dynamited that out. So all the boats that wanted to go out could go out at that time. But that was the end of the floating clam canneries because they were all stranded there. So just wanted to thank you and tell you how much I appreciate all you do, especially during these difficult financial times. Thank you.
Yes, Michelle. Any further audience participation? All right. Then we can go on to council comments. And start with Councilmember Reed.
Yeah, you were gonna do that, I wasn't making eye contact. I appreciate staff, we appreciate planning and zoning, the organization of the meetings, I've been following those meetings. And they've been running well, lots of good comments, I do appreciate proposals and community members putting in for property in Cordova. I'd like to see that continue, I think, there are homes for all these proposals out there, we just need to find the right fit. And I'd certainly like to see us move forward with new housing projects and the revitalization of Main Street. I think that's gonna be huge. We now have yet another building closed on Main Street, and I'd really like to see some focus on the current properties that we have, as opposed to maybe necessarily building new ones. So, I would hope that we see some proposals come forward for that revitalization. I think that's gonna help in the long run as well. Empty buildings don't help anybody, so I'd like to see some activity there. I appreciate Sam, I appreciate the ice worms. I was a coach and had an ice worm come through. And the pool is extremely important, and I think that conversation needs to stay at our forefront. I can see in the future, we're probably gonna need to do some creative pull of monies to get that pool back in running form again, but I don't really think it's an option to not have a pool in Cordova, so whatever we can do to move forward on that, I would be willing to support. And I thank the rest of the staff. I kind of thank Tony, but not always, but I do thank the rest of the staff and their hard work. There's a lot of tricky decisions coming forward, and as we head into budget time, hard decisions to make, and I appreciate everything they bring to us in the meetings, so thank you. Michelle, thanks for the history lesson. I'm always interested in listening to Cordova history, so you and I need to get coffee.
Adams. I enjoyed hearing all the testimony about pool from local residents, and pool's not just for kids. I utilize the pool, and whole families utilize it together. And on a Saturday afternoon, you see families in the pool together when it's raining sideways. That's an opportunity to, you know, get some exercise and do something as a family. You can't go outside. So I'm really in support of whatever we can do for the pool. Two other things, the town hall suggestion really intrigues me, and yes, to have an outside entity so that run it and adjudicate it. However, they're gonna be able to manage it, but I think that would be something that Cordova's poised and ready to do right now, because I think we've got changes on the horizon. And in response to Michelle's history, it would be kind of fun, and I don't know, proposing something that would cost money, but to have a few little interpretive signs eventually in the neighborhood, so that, you know, when tourists come and they do go on walks, there's a little bit of information for them. So. And thank you, Susan, for your help today. Goodbye.
Selectman Kinsman. Yes. As always, great to see audience participation. Thank you. A lot of things before us and some things that weren't necessarily on the agenda. And then again, ice worm, swimming pool, that support. It's great to see. I'm saying this, obviously we can have conversations about the funding for this, but it's a school and it's a community resource that, if we're gonna say realistically, locals use it, if it's a property tax issue. Like, again, open to other ideas, but I just want that, like, say the word, so people are thinking about, like, pool restructuring, new pool, these are bonds or property tax items, more money out of your pocket, which is great, and I'm not saying I don't support it, I just want people to realistically be thinking that there's a price to it, and it's amazing, and I have children who utilize it both at the elementary level and both at the ice room level. Completely support it, but it's just reality, it costs money. And it's a necessity for our community, it's not just for one, it's not even just for the ice worms, we got a breakdown usage, they may be a partial majority, you know, but we can break it into other majorities, and it's a community resource that's needed. And it's a community conversation in order for it to be productive, so. That really got me going with the town hall idea, so that was great, thank you again, former Mayor Copeland. Public safety, thank you for the conversation, Sam, and the partnership, thank you, Aaron, thank you, Stephen. I've been able to hear from each and every one of you a little bit, and other members of the community, thank you, thanks for playing, I mean, we all have roles to help keep our community safe, so thank you. And it's no small task. For, again, just shout out Jones Property LLC, thank you for your wanting to be creative, wanting to bring new businesses, wanting to bring housing in here. I know tonight you as an entity or individual might be feeling pretty defeated. Let's continue the partnership and conversation of how do we again, to Councilmember Rainey's point, find the right fit for what you want to do. I look forward to the gingerbread building being turned into housing for our community. Very excited about that, and I look forward to see what that looks like. And then going from there, and to your adventure lodge, if you can come forward with whatever sustainable option for you that fits within a lease model. I think there's some appetite at council to entertain that. But also to maybe council member Rainey Spy had some of the same concerns that that footprint is pretty tiny when really considering all that it takes. So again, thank you.
It's almost easier to go first because then everything's been said. Yeah, I just I will echo everything that staff, the packets, really makes the meetings go so well and that they just prepared so beautifully. Really a big shout out, to Samantha for all she's been doing with rec, and the pool. And, I know people haven't been here, maybe they're watching the council meetings online, but we have been talking about the pool and we've been staying on top of the pool. And I think every council member is very supportive of the pool and I read 5 or 6 newspapers a day, and one is my hometown newspaper. And this teeny tiny town of Three Springs, just raised their mill rate so that they could keep their community pool. And that's what they wanted to do, and it's a teeny tiny old coal mining town. So I think that we need to think seriously and hard about funding our pool and keeping it open and doing what we need to do, and it's gonna cost us. I wanted to just comment too, it was extremely wonderful to have all these proposals in front of us. It was exciting to see everything. And as a council person, I always try and choose proposals that are in the best interest of the community at large. And so while I commend Ken's company of all that he's trying to do, I think the locations were a deciding factor for me on some of those proposals. And I am excited to see what he does with the gingerbread apartments. And I will remind people that that little teeny section on the left-hand side as you face the building was Cordova's original post office. And I hope it doesn't go away in the development and we could maybe celebrate it. And I think that's it. I said,
Much agree with everything that's been stated. I am very thankful for all the community comment and encourage all community members to continue to voice their opinions. I mean, that's where we're acting on behalf of the community. And every time that we have your support or your opinions and your information, it's very helpful to make our decisions. I'm very supportive of the pool. Its importance is very high. I have to agree with things have a cost, but as a parent, 3 children who love the pool, they're little fish. I was on Parks and Rec with Marv when he brought in the article from his refrigerator that had it was from when they built the pool, and it was on the joint bond between the city and the school district and the importance for, youth and kids to be in the pool. And as a parent in a community where there's so much water recreation, it's, terrifying, the danger that they put themselves in and have the ability to learn at a very young age. I mean, Tony had my daughter Karina at 2 months old. It's just instantaneous. And these kids in this community, they're water kids. And I hope that we can find a solution to continue to support and maintain in our community. And again, I really appreciate all the public comment, and I hope and encourage the community to continue to come and voice their opinions. That's it.
It's hard and it's easy being the last one, right?
Mhm.
But you can say, I echo everything, I agree with everything all my fellow council members have had to say, for sure. I also want to thank staff and all the work they do to prep us for these meetings. Without them, it would be really tough. We'd have to figure all these things out on our own. And I know as other council members do, I spend a bit of time in this office, checking in with our clerk and our city manager to make sure that I'm understanding the issues that we're all dealing with. I'm really always happy to see participation, and I think it's fantastic, again, with the pool, Badarki, ski hill. The outdoor recreation opportunities we have are a big part of why everybody's here, and it's been an amazing summer, it's been a sunny, beautiful summer, so we've all been outdoors, but it will get rainy again, we're all gonna go indoors, and we need these. And what really make living in Cordova special. So I really appreciate, the constant pressure for things that people in the community want to see done and maintained. The last thing I want to note on it, we've spent a lot of time and talked about, land disposal, and I have come to realize, I've said this before, it's a huge part of what we do. As council members, is dealing with land disposal and disposition of land and leases and sales, and, that's huge, because the decisions we make will last years and years after we're off council. I mean, 20, 30 years, if it's a sale, forever. So it's not, I don't think any of us making these decisions lightly. And the decisions, I know, I can speak for myself, I think everybody here are looking for the best possible use for the city, how it benefits the city of Cordova with these decisions. So that's what I go into when I'm making a decision. I think that, Ken has been doing a great job on his efforts. I'm sure he'll do a great job into the future. And as has already been said tonight, I'm sure there's property out there for his desires to expand his work that might be better locations for this he wants to do. I'll be looking forward to seeing those proposals when they're done, so I'm sure we will. That's all.
I just want to add a couple more things that are germane to all the things we've talked about before, and one of them from the last meeting. When Councilmember Sherman raised the not so popular topic sometimes of dog poop. I think it's really important. The Copper River Watershed Project spent a lot of time on a campaign talking about clean streets, clean streams, clean shoes. And coordinated with the Native Village of Yak and Parks and Rec to set up stations around town to dispense dog food bags, and I will connect with Sam and find out the status of those, because I'm not sure that they're all there, but it is important. And if we're talking about encouraging development in our downtown area, we want it to be nice, we want it to be presentable, so I think that's important. Certainly the value of the pool, we've all heard about that tonight. I always marveled at the pool and thinking about what a godsend it must be to parents in the winter on those rainy days, when they can have their kids go work out their energy in the pool. And then I also wanted to follow up in my role with the Prince William Sound Economic Development District. We're going to be hosting an introductory presentation, an introduction to small scale development, which will be presented by the Incremental Development Alliance, which is part of the Strong Group, has coordinated with the Strong Towns Network. And that'll be on September 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. And we're looking at getting a room here at the Cordova Center. But for people like Jones Properties and other folks who have proposed to developments of properties around town, this is about helping people learn how to develop one lot at a time, one unit at a time, or maybe a duplex at a time. It's not, developers are not coming from out of town to help us. We're gonna have to grow that capacity here in town, and this is a tool to help us do that. And they can help coach people through it, connect people with financing, help with the lot layout and all the things that go into developing a piece of property. So we'll be advertising that more in the coming weeks, but I'm excited about the information that we can gain from that. So yeah, September 10th from 5 to 7. And also I am going to meet with Samantha at Badarki next week to talk about the USDA's Community Facilities Program, which I think might be a possible tool to help us get some resources for the pool. It won't pay for all of it, like you've heard council members talk about before. It probably will involve we know that there's a match required coming from the city, so whether it comes through property tax, what if they want to issue bonds, anyway, those are things to talk about. But there's a possibility of this as one of the potential funding sources. We never get all the money from one place. You have to stack your capital, so this could be one of those sources. Thanks.
On the calendar, I forgot to mention a quick plug for the another indoor activity, the pickleball tournament this Sunday. Sign up,
You're pushing.
sign up. There's only 7 teams signed up. Beginners allowed. Sunday, 10 o'clock, Mount Epic.
Excellent. So maybe do folks want to take a break before the executive session? We take a 5-minute break?
Before the motion even.
Oh,
It's, sometimes you take the motion and then take the
Okay.
break.
okay.
Make the
Someone like
motion.
to make a motion?
Which consideration? 14. Madam Mayor, I move that we go into executive session. Let's see, to consider recommendations from city manager regarding CEC land disposal negotiations is subject, which is a matter of immediate. It was a matter, the immediate knowledge of which would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances. Yep. Also, 14 dealt to the consideration from letter from Schultz regarding mobile grid lease of lot 2, block 7. And FDP.
And that's also a financial matter.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. So moved Kinman, seconded German, and, yeah, so. 5 minutes.
With no objection, those are,
We can take a 5-minute recess?
well, and they approve, you approving the motion.
Oh, I'm
going
sorry,
into the
right,
executive
right,
session.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, let's.
And now in recess.
Thank you.
You're doing good.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
doing
it's a
great.
lot, it's a
Doing
lot,
great.
long.
Very long.
Lot of steps.
It's long,
Lot of
it's a
steps,
step. I understand you're traveling today, which
Yeah.
I fully
Yeah.
relate to, just your mind goes out the window.
Because you, what I heard that Alex is teaching the swim team how to play pickleball one day a week in the morning. So he's teaching the pickleball.
So like really amateur teams, like they think there could be a 5th grade team.
Well, I do think that the tournament says 16.
Today was in a tough game. The leader of the singing of the symphony stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Was the champion pickleball woman.